Hey, doll.
Hey, my love. How are we doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. It's a milestone episode. I don't want to say people said we couldn't do it. I don't think anybody did.
No.
But we did it. Despite all of that fake narrative, we did it. Episode 5.
Fake news.
That's right. Episode 5. To our wonderful Do We Have To crew, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Do We Have To, a marriage podcast, not actual Family Studios production. Executive producer, man of the hour, Colin Maskell. I am Sean, your host,
Emily.
And my wonderful wife, Emily, the rock of our family, the patriarch of the motherfucking Miller household, Emily Miller.
Did you say the patriarch?
Yeah, is that bad? Oh,
I would be the
patriarchy. Oh my God.
matriarch.
Yeah, matriarch. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with me? Sorry.
God.
Well,
Taylor
you know what?
Swift
Here's
would
the
be
deal.
So disappointed.
Here's the deal. I don't see gender. So I think that
Okay.
you don't understand that, like, to me, it doesn't matter, right? Maybe you identify as a patriarch. I don't know. I'm trying to be sensitive to that.
No.
I fucked up.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get excited with words and you want to just jump into it. You want to, right? It didn't work out. That's okay. The matriarch of the motherfucking Miller family, Emily Miller. Better?
Sure.
And we're not going to edit it because we don't have the funds for that. So
No. Just
just
move
everybody
on.
who's listening, just pretend that that's what you had heard. But yes, we've got a wonderful show, everybody. We're going to be talking about some New Year's resolutions.
Yep.
For the first time now in the history of this wonderful project, the Do We Have To podcast, we have had so many questions sent to the show that we are going to pretty much do a full show on that.
Yeah.
So that is awesome and exciting. We've got a couple. Of course, we want to make sure that we are giving, the best answers possible, being as thorough as possible, talking through these things and kind of bouncing off Emily and I's experiences and all that sort of stuff. So a few questions an episode is kind of what we're looking at, but we'll continue to, as the questions come in, if we have to do 1,000 episodes to get through all of them, we'll do a fucking 1,000 episodes.
Yeah.
That's a guarantee.
Just reminder, we are not experts.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's probably the best time to do this, right?
Neither one of us are licensed psychologists or...
We have no training other than I was a
Therapists.
psychology minor, which I think about
me too.
3/4 of
I
the
forgot all
American
about that.
population that get duped into going to college thinking you'd have a long-term viable
Yeah.
career and then find yourself in the wallows of the economy as it is. I was a psychology minor as well.
Sidebar.
Yeah, well, you got to be real. Be real with the audience. That's what
But
they want. That's what they deserve.
We are just giving our opinion and what we would do in that situation. We are not giving any legal, medical, professional,
Unless you think it
whatever
is.
advice you think we're giving. It is just too...
If it would be
random
harmful to
people
us,
from Kansas City.
then we disclaim all of it. If it helped you, then yes, legally, we helped you.
No.
So just take it for what it is.
No, we're not doing that.
No,
No.
absolutely not. Emily and I, we have, as a couple, being married for now 12 years and going on 13, we've just been through a lot, seen a lot. We've had to go through a lot of processes that have blessed us with some good 20/20 hindsight, but then also some good proactive behaviors and boundaries and things of that nature. And when we were talking about starting this project, one of our big things was wanting to give that back and then hopefully help people. And it doesn't have to be just people that are married, anybody, relationship questions, just general questions, anything we can do to provide any type of experience where we're not an expert on it, but if it helps you make a better decision or if it helps you avoid a terrible decision, which we will provide you with both, then that's what the fuck we're here for. And that's why we want to help. Right?
Yeah, sure.
Right. So with that being said though, New Year's, how do you think it went? I feel like we stayed up too late, but other than that,
We stayed up way too late.
I blame Papa Ron for that.
Do you? I kind
yeah.
of blame beer.
Well, beer, but also Papa Ron bought fancy champagne
He
that
did,
we
and it
normally
was
wouldn't be able to
delicious.
afford or buy.
I normally don't like champagne.
It's on our budget. No, it was delicious. It was
And it was a
rosé,
rosé
Moet.
champagne, yeah.
Moet. Am I saying that right?
Moet.
Moet.
Well, I think that
Shows you how high class Emily and I are. We don't even know how to pronounce the
Sure
basic French champagne that you can buy at a
Sure
local grocery
don't.
store pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, no.
But it was delicious, had no bitterness or bite to it. So I highly recommend it if you are in the future going to be popping some bottles, as they say.
Do they say that anymore?
All the fucking time.
I don't think so.
I can't tell you how many times I've walked into a Dunkin' and said, "You ready to pop some bottles?" And they just fall right in with it.
we're talking.
But no, with that being said, though, Rosé Moët, delicious beverage.
Yeah.
So besides that, besides staying up too late and being slightly hungover, but having to act like I'm not hungover.
I was not hungover.
Yeah, you were fine because you're a responsible adult.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Self-control.
New Year's, you feel like you're on a good track for the wonderful start of 2025?
Yeah, I already read a book, so I'm one book down.
Yeah. Will you pick her up? So let's just start with an interruption of the show. Fuck it. Normally we wait till about halfway through the show when we're actually in a good rhythm. Fucking let's just get interrupted right now off the bat. We actually thought today would be a great day or evening, I guess I should say, for filming the show, because it is the evening, because our children are occupied. The dogs are overnight because of various veterinary reasons, and we have one dog. Somehow, though, the one tiny dog that does still reside in this house fucking has to whine because we're not giving her attention. She's the worst dog.
She's the best.
So anybody who owns dachshunds, I'm sure that you love them just like I do.
You know what's happening if you own a dachshund. Like, you know that she's going to be...
They're like, if they were a human being, they'd be like the worst human being. Like this narcissistic, like it's all about me. I take no accountability for anything. Just give me attention. Me, type of dog. But we do love them, and we have two of them at the house. So I guess she'll be just sitting in on the show today, I guess. So, but with that being said, so...
She loves it.
New Year's off to a good start. I actually did. I went through and I was just reading about New Year's resolutions because obviously we're talking about couples and marriages and, those sorts of things. It's kind of like one of those things, everybody looks at the new year as a launching off point. I was kind of curious just because I've never really cared to know. But now that we have influence and have these conversations with folks, what are the typical resolutions we have? And I kind of wanted to relate that back to you. I wanted to run over. I know I haven't talked to you about this at all, but I did read an article by Miss Alexis Zimmerman, who wrote for the USA Today just a few days ago, actually, about resolutions. So in a resolution, she just kind of broke down a general overview. So they went out and fucking surveyed a bunch of people, as magazines and newspapers and news outlets do. And they found that 3 out of every 5 people, so it's roughly, a little close to, I think it was a little bit under 60%, but it's like 2 point some odd people. So 3 people out of every 5 in the U.S. stated that they have a New Year's resolution. So roughly 60% of folks in the U.S. have some sort of goal that they have attributed to the start of the new year, right? And those goals fell into, they categorized them. So people just kind of, stating them differently, but they all kind of revolve around the same categories, right?
Yeah.
Okay. First one, save more money.
Always. That should always
that's your number one?
I feel like that's always something I'm trying to do in some fashion. It doesn't always work, but Target gets me every time. But I would love to say I can save more money. Agreed.
I mean, 21% of the folks that were surveyed said this. I mean, I agree with it. I guess my concern about it is like, it's like stuff like this is like, are we creating realistic goals when we state stuff like this? To me, it's like...
Well, it should have like a number on it.
You think a specific number is beneficial? I think so too.
So.
But I think it needs to be...
Because then it's like attainable. Save more money. Okay, well, that's easily talked out of when you walk the dollar spot at Target. Like, oh, I don't really need this, but it's only $3.
I guess that's a good point. So if you have a specific number on it, you can kind of then revolve a budget around it. And I know that's sometimes where we have struggled, where we're just like, we need to not spend as much money this month. I'm sure... Right. Millions of people have had this fucking conversation where it's like, we just need to spend less. But it's like, unless you actually introduce a specific piece of math, shout out Uncle Jeff, math is math. If you don't have a number to go up against, you're likely going to fuck up and you're going to end up spending more than you want because you're not just constantly have something to measure it to. So I think that's a good point. But I also think too, you can end up putting a lot of pressure on yourself if you don't get that number right.
Absolutely.
I know we've done that where budgets we don't have realistic numbers in play.
Budgets are something to aim for. They're not like, you're going to have wiggle room in a budget, but you need to have something attainable. Like you don't want to go over or way under You want to be right around this number.
And it has to pertain to, like, you really do. And I think this is where couples have trouble and why there's just general numbers thrown out or not numbers at all, having the conversation.
God, I hate talking about money.
Go ahead. Why?
Because it stresses me out.
Right. But also it's probably how I react to it sometimes too.
I think every couple.
I get very butthurt about like, well, I'm not doing well with money.
But so do I. I just show it differently. I shut down. You vocalize it more.
Well, and I'm just like, we got to fix it. And then it's like, but there's nothing to fit. We've already gone beyond whatever I'm frustrated or upset about.
We're already screwed.
We're already there, right? So it's more about being proactive. But then when you do find yourself in the shit, take it easy on yourself. What's done is done. And then you got to try to just be gracious with each other and have those conversations and knock those through. But I would definitely say an obtainable number, even if we just need to save $100 every month. Like, start there. I think that's the big thing about New Year's resolutions. Don't get so fucking grandiose. And I know it's hard in this world with all the goddamn social media and and I say that as somebody who now is spitting shit out on social media all the time. So you're going to watch a video about me telling you not what you should do, but like kind of my opinion on things. But at the end of the fucking day, it's got to be what works best for you.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and listen to people tell you exactly how you have to do things.
I think that's also why people quit their resolutions before January is even over.
Because they're unfucking realistic.
Yeah.
And you've put so much pressure on yourself, and then you're comparing yourself to others and everybody that does it. And I hate to tell you this, there's only one fucking David Goggins. There's only one, what's the fucking guy you like Dave Ramsey. I'm not a big fan of his, but I know you like Dave Ramsey. Respect you, whatever, Dave. But
I like some of his stuff, but
I like the debt snowball
don't.
Methodology. I think that is very useful. I just don't vibe on him that much. But I mean, it seems like a great guy, wants to help. That's great. But there's ones of those people. And those people also, remember, came from shit. So if you know their story, they just happen to get out of it. But they also have very unique mindsets and they're very unique people. So like, you cannot fucking compare yourself to a lot of these people that are super popular and that have had all this success. You got to do what's worked for you and what's best for your family.
Yeah.
Yeah, money's a big one. Sorry, I know that took up a lot of time, but it's a fucking big one, right?
Yeah.
And then you go right from something that's really more about security of your family, not just yourself, but also could just be for yourself, into something that is very much directed to yourself, which is eat healthier.
I think that can get bundled with the number 3 one, which is exercise more.
Yeah, eating and exercising. You bring up a good point. Just overall, your self-care, right? Like that is such a big thing, and it affects everything. Typically, if there's a problem, it's likely a symptom to not taking care of yourself, even if it's something that is external. How you're doing in your job, how you're handling money, how are you doing in your relationship. A lot of that is how you're treating your own body, garbage in, garbage out, right?
We tell that to our kids all the time.
I know, and it's so hard. And I shout out to all the parents out there that, like, in this fucking country I love the U.S. I love the United States. Very happy here. I love Kansas City more than anything in the whole wide world. I'm so happy that we just got lucky. I was a military brat that we happened to end up, and thankful to my dad that we set up shop here. I fucking love this city and everything about it. But you have to also recognize your problems too. The food in our country is a fucking problem.
Yeah.
When I'm watching, I'm reading about people that are influencers or athletes or whatever, and they can go over to Europe and they can eat the same stuff they don't call clean food, and they feel better than when they eat clean, supposedly here. That's a fucking problem. And all we're doing is...
Yeah, I've heard, like, if you have celiac, like I do, like, I could go to, like...
You could be
Italy
eating bread and pasta and
eat
shit, and it doesn't fuck
pasta,
you.
and I could go to France and eat a baguette, like...
Yes, because it's actually the chemical and all the shit they're doing and the preservatives and the chemicals in the food that are causing your body to reject the food in a violent way, as opposed to it being the food itself.
Yeah.
And that's why more and more people are becoming celiac and gluten-free. I get it, but hey, one night on the toilet, it's worth it, right? Just give it a shot.
It's more than just...
If let's say we get a room where you can see the Eiffel Tower from the restroom, would you be more inclined to try a croissant? Probably.
Well, just the fact that I'd be in Paris and...
Fucking right. But my point is
but
that...
I also, it's not just like, it's a lot more than...
Sure. We're getting off on a tangent here, and I don't mean to do that. But let me just say, the fact is that the most driven companies to addict people, which were tobacco companies back, in in the early 1900s, as my kids like to say, also bought food companies. And guess what the fuck they're doing now? Those same people own the Nabiscos and all that shit. Look it up. Fact check it. It is true. They're doing the same goddamn thing. It's just a wider way to get people addicted to the food and crave it all the time. And it fucks our kids' physiology up, you know? And that's why it is a struggle constantly. And then that relates to struggles with your mental health and then struggles with your confidence and how that affects even being able to have a relationship when you can't even begin to take care of yourself because you're kind of in a losing pattern before you even start is, you know, you wonder, it's no wonder why a lot of people are in the situations they're in, including ourselves, because we've been there and we still have to deal with that food. I ate junk all the time. I ate Cheez-Its last night. I can't give them up.
I miss Cheez-Its.
They're extra toasted Cheez-Its too.
know,
Shout out to Cheez-Its. Jesus Christ, you put out a hell of a product. Okay. And then
that
the
goes
exercising.
straight into 4, which is lose more weight.
Well, can I will do one? Sorry, one more. We'll include lose weight in that because we can just knock them all out right now, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the consistency. I will say for exercising, it's fucking just consistency. Don't worry about how much you're doing or when. If you're doing it consistent enough, you could be building yourself up to run. Right after we got our surgery, I was walking for 100 yards and I jogged for 10 seconds. I can run. I run now. When I run 8 to 9 miles. And I am not fast. I'm not fast. I'm not I was an athlete in high school. I'm not a trained athlete by any means. So that means anybody can fucking do it. It's just a matter of staying consistent. And even I have my lows. So I'm telling you this right now. I'm going on a week and a half now because of all the stuff we're getting ready to go through in our family. And we had a huge fucking snowstorm just fly through here. Now I'm a week and a half where I haven't worked out in a long time and I'm not feeling great about that. So like I totally understand that, but you can start anywhere. If you're consistent, you're going to build and then prepare to have lulls and get fucking back at it. And if you do that, you're going to be fine. Well, what do you find like as far as exercise? Because I know that's something that you struggle with. I have like this insane warriors mentality about it.
I really struggle with working out. I tend to focus more on the eating than this workout part, like eating healthy and being very aware of what I put in my body and all
I'm
that
opposite.
Stuff. But I know like I need to work out and it's like I have a procedure coming up and being told that I can't do anything for 6 to 8 weeks afterwards almost makes me want to work out more. Like the fact that somebody tells me that I can't makes me want to do it kind of thing.
You can do anything you set your fucking mind to.
And so, but I also go through these phases where when I start, I become slightly obsessed with it and kind of like
you burn yourself out, really is what you do.
It.
Yeah. You're kind of, I'm almost worried you're doing that with books and I'm really actually enjoying our book club. So please don't do that.
No, I love reading. Reading takes
different deal then, huh? That's your escape.
Yes. Like it's
your woosah.
Sure.
Woosah.
Okay. I just, with working out, I have to have like so much in place. Like I really can't have the kids around when I work out. You can do it with or without the kids. I need my music. I need my clothes. I need my environment. Like I love the Peloton bike, like love it.
Yeah.
And I love the row, but if the kids are there and I get distracted, like I get frustrated because I can't give 100% because the kids are inside the house killing each other or throwing a fit, or I've got to make dinner, or I've got to get to practice, or I've got to do this appointment or something. Like there's always 1,000 other things.
There's a lot of excuses that you can latch onto to prevent you from doing it. I do it myself.
Yeah.
The fucking weather, easily, no problem. Because I don't like running inside in circles. I hate it. And so if something's not right or if something's off, it'll fuck me up a little bit. And then you have to kind of pass that through.
Yeah. I let all the like external stuff get to me.
Sure. There is a benefit though. And I will tell you this. And I again, fact check me on this. There is a part of your brain that they've now associated with when you do something you don't want to do. You get up and you fucking do the laundry. You get up, you take your kids to school begrudgingly. All those things that we have to do, what we call adulting, #adulting, right?
Yeah.
Those things, when you're doing all those things, including taking care of yourself, and you've just told your brain, I don't give a fuck how I feel. I don't give a fuck about what's going on. I'm going to do it. That part of your brain, and I'm sorry I don't have it on me because it just popped in my head, grows. And when that grows, they actually associate that with the will to live. So essentially people, and why I say that is it's not because they scientifically exactly mapped that out, but what they found is that people that live longer, that portion of their brain's bigger. And they believe that that portion of the brain gets bigger by doing things where your mind instinctually is telling you, hey, path of least resistance, don't do it. And you're saying, fuck off. I want to be the best I can be.
Yeah.
So if that gives you a little motivation.
I heard, I didn't hear it. I read an article about Jimmy Carter.
That motherfucker. Rest in peace, Jimmy.
And somebody asked him like
Badass
how
man.
he and his wife have lived such a long, healthy life. And he's like, well, every time she got mad at me or something, like I don't have the quote. So this is just what I remember from the article. It was like every time she got mad at me or if we got in a fight, I would run 5 miles. And so he was like, I've ran 5 miles every day for the last.
I was going to say, yeah.
Like 70 some years, like however long were they married or whatever. And they were like, well, then how did she do it? And he's like, well, she followed me to make sure I did it. So like they, like they worked out together. But anyways, it's just random.
I will say, just out of curiosity, is there something I can do better to help with that? So, and I think that's probably a question any husband or wife should ask, right? Like you have these goals. How can I help? Right? Shout out to Uncle Will. How can I help make it better? Right?
I need to just make sure I plan it in my day and like have 0 distraction and 0 interruption. And I just need to make it a non-negotiable for myself.
Sure.
I don't really know that it's.
So you need me to run the ship. So you make sure you take care of things so you can take care of yourself, self-care. And I think that's reasonable.
Yeah. Like I
try to do it
if I'm doing it while the kids are home or something,
for yourself. Yeah.
Then I need to make sure like nobody comes in the garage for 45 minutes. Like don't even think about it. Not even for a water. Like,
yeah, I get it. Well, and I'm gonna get a lot of practices because with your surgery coming up and you being on the mend, basically it's going to be dad's in charge. So besides, Hunger Games style to see who gets tucked into bed first, who can make the best prison shank. I'll add in, working on structure for, of course, the kids, not going out and making sure we give you your appropriate time. So prison shank also, I believe Jason Kelsey calls it a spork. So you can look that up. Yeah,
I'm sure.
You never heard the story about him stabbing a kid when he was in grade school with a spork? And his dad, why the fuck would you let little kids play with sporks? Like the response from Mr. Kelsey. Shout out to Big Ed.
They have sporks because it's a 2-in-1.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying he's like they were playing with it. I think is what the thing was, and he's in the most classic like '90s dad fucking response. Like, why the fuck are you letting him play around with something like that? Just let him eat lunch with it and get rid of it, right? Pretty funny. Yeah. But anyway, so I'll work on that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Spend more time with family and friends.
I think that should be everybody's priority.
I think so too, but the biggest reason why is because that's the most important thing we'll do with our time. And I think that's probably we don't keep that in the forefront of our mind enough, guys. That is the only time that really matters. Like, unless you are just insanely passionate about your job and you're doing Jesus's work or whatever. When I say Jesus, sorry, if that came off overly religious, that's not what I mean by that. But I mean, like, if you're saving people, like if you're you know what I mean? You're doing something where that is all you are. I totally get that. But outside of that, the most important time you're going to have and the time you're going to remember, I think, when we're dying, and as previous episodes, I think about that every so often, you're going to be thinking about the time you spent with your loved ones and your friends. I do think we do a good job with that. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty psyched about it. But I think that is one thing, though, most people regret. I really do. I see it all the time. I see people interview about it. I see people when they're older, they're not talking about they wish they would have worked harder. They're talking about they wish they would have spent time more with the people that mattered.
Yeah.
So totally get that. And then the last one's quit smoking.
Honestly, I was
quit
surprised.
Fucking smoking, everybody.
I was
Jesus
surprised
Christ.
that was even on here.
I mean, you can smoke, just like,
but
don't smoke like my, I've had family members that smoke like goddamn chimney. Just don't do that. Moderation. I think that's probably the overall biggest message, right?
No.
Moderation on how you're spending your money. Moderation on, the amount of bad food you eat. It's fucking moderation. Just being cognizant of how much you're doing and taking and trying to be the best human being you can be.
If you're trying to do that, smoke at all.
Well, I guess I've smoked a cigar while I've drank before. I've never smoked a cigarette or anything like that, but And even then I was just like a one-time deal. I mean, it's fine. It's not shitting on somebody who smokes. It's just don't smoke to the point where you're wearing out your fucking, like, you can quit smoking, or is it some sort of more of moderation type of extracurricular activity? Because I sit here and I drink beer on the show. So like Garage Beer, by the way, shout out to Garage Beer at Drink Garage Beer.
I drink coffee.
And they do not support the show in any way ever so often. I just really enjoy it. So it is the beer of the show. But, you know, with that being said, it's just one of those things, like, just don't way overindulge. And I think that's a good start. So if that's if I were going to give anybody your New Year's resolution advice, consistency and lack of overindulgence. Try to stick with that. Don't give yourself these fucking specific things. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I don't know. I don't know much more to say on that. But New Year's resolutions, it's an important time, and it can be a really, really important tool. It could be one of those things that really, really sets you off in the right direction, but you have to do it the right way, and you have to have realistic, obtainable resolutions and goals. Yeah. So with that being said, I guess it's time we move into Do We Have to Talk About It, which is steadily becoming my favorite segment of the show. And now we're getting a lot of response and a lot of support on that. So thank you, everybody, for that. We have people now listening all over the world. We have Russia, Singapore, Belgium. Sorry, I'm trying to be kind of. And then we have a couple new states that popped in. Rhode Island. We had Washington and a couple others. So really appreciate everybody listening. Thank you. Keep sending in your comments and questions and those sorts of things. We've gotten a variety of that. We're going to continue to incorporate that in the show. And it sounds like it's going to be really the staple of the show, which is great. That's what you want. Yeah. That's what we're going to give you.
Well,
right?
This is a marriage podcast, so.
And the coolest thing about this whole deal and this whole project is just the amount of response we've gotten has been so overall positive. And the things that, you know, we've gotten that have been critiques, we're trying to do everything we can to incorporate those. So thank you so much for that. Amber, by the way, one page. Amber had mentioned, I believe on YouTube, Amber had mentioned that I fumble with papers a lot and it can be distracting. So what did I do? One pager, right? Yeah. So, I mean, there's lots of good information out there. I'm not going to take offense to anything. I'm not perfect, and I can roll through this. So please keep sending us your feedback and your comment. Go to dowehavето.com. It's submit a question to the show. You can just put in fake information if you want to be anonymous and give us the question. We will be respectful of your names. Like some folks have provided us first and last names. I'm not going to provide the last name. Okay. So the folks that were comfortable with mentioning their name, we're not going to give the whole fucking name. And then most people are putting anonymous in there, which is absolutely fine too. So continue to send this to us. But the coolest thing about this, not only we have all these different people, countries that we have that are picking up our content and listening to it, but our last episode, we had our new sponsor, Emma Enchanted Travel, who will be sponsoring our emotional support coffee of the month and book club, which is amazing. So we'll continue she's a partner of the show now. We'll continue to support her. We have another sponsor. Yeah. And that sponsor is going to be
perfect that Muffin's like photobombed because.
Oh yeah, it is actually. That's a very good point. And we do know this person. We have a relationship with her as far as she has supported us in her endeavors in the past. And that is.
You went to college with her?
You went to college with her. Oh, I did not know that. But she is one of the top and when I say top, you can look it up. She is one of the top real estate agents in the Kansas City area. She's the best. She sells in both Missouri and Kansas. Mm-hmm. She's brokered out of Keller Williams Key Partners. Her name is Kylie Willis. Yep. She is associated with Keller Williams Real Estate. Mm-hmm. Okay. She loves to work with clients all over the Kansas City metropolitan area, but she can also sell and buy in both Kansas and Missouri. Buying or selling a home is an important step in life. And when it comes to choosing a realtor, you need one that takes your home and investment as seriously as you do. And I do think that is extremely well said, and I'll explain why here shortly. Combining over her 15 years of sales, marketing experience, dedication to her clients, fun personality, and outstanding customer service skills with Keller Williams' state-of-the-art technology and support, Kylie provides a one-stop, customizable shop for all your real estate needs and commitment to your 100% satisfaction from start to finish. A portion of all of her sales transactions as well goes to animal rescue charities. Specifically this year in 2025, she is supporting KC Pet Project. Yeah. Which we've worked with KC Pet Project. And when I say work, we've been a customer of KC Pet Project before. Yeah. And that is awesome. They pretty much actually now are responsible for a majority of all the animal services over the entire metropolitan area. So it's a huge endeavor, and having people like Kylie that support that is a really important deal. Yeah. And she normally, if you work with her, you'll probably meet at least one of her dogs, but more than likely it'll be Ashley.
who is the sweetest little dog in the whole world.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and I can say this, I can read these things off to you, right? You get these scripts you read off for advertisements, but there's nothing like having firsthand experience with somebody.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, if you use Kylie as your real estate agent, especially in the market where it's coming now, this is supposed to be an up year. So highly recommend you're looking in, if that's something that is been on your mind, of something you're looking of interest into, buying or selling a home, it's the time to do it. And you want the best fucking human being possible that is going to have empathy and look out for you.
Yeah.
Kylie has sold us 2 homes. Mm-hmm. She has sold one of our homes. She has sold my father's home when he was in the middle of a really bad health crisis. Mm-hmm. And we were dealing with a lot of stuff and really could not put a ton of time and effort into what we were doing. Yeah. And she adapted all of her practices and how she approaches the job based on what we were going through.
Yeah.
And how she handled people that were trying to buy us. Yeah. She worked with your parents to buy their home. Mm-hmm. We just have a ton of investment in Kylie, but we have a ton of investment with her because she has been successful in everything we have ever had to come across when it comes to real estate.
Yeah,
and the reason
she was my mentor when I was in real estate. Like I've loved working with her professionally and personally.
I've never had a stressful time in selling or buying the home with her, which I think is very uncommon. I don't have that perspective, but listening to everybody else deal with real estate issues and or just selling and buying real estate, it's a stressful fucking process. I haven't had that with her.
Yeah.
And if you are going to have it though, you need to have somebody that's going to have your fucking back. And I 100% can tell you that I believe that that's Kylie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Kylie, so much for being a sponsor to the show. We look forward to having you as a sponsor for the Do We Have to Talk About It segment for years to come. So with that being said, our first wonderful, wonderful question. This is from Bev in Rhode Island, which is why I mentioned Rhode Island earlier, right? So Bev in Rhode Island, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to let you respond to this first. I'm going to try not to get hot about this when I'm talking about it. Okay.
Okay. I don't know which ones you chose. So
I try not to I grab them and I try to put them in our segments for our show. And I try not to think about them too much. This one, I knew I was going to have to take a moment. Okay. So just bear with me. Just got out of a relationship and could use some advice. My boyfriend broke up with me and told me the reason was due to my weight. He said he wasn't attracted to me or in love with me anymore. If I were to lose weight, what do you think what I could do if I were to lose weight, do you think I could mend the relationship? Or should I stay away given why you broke up with me? Love your show. Thank you for saying I love your show, by the way, Bev.
Stay away from him. That's bullshit.
Go ahead. No, give that perspective because we've both been much bigger in our lives, a couple hundred pounds heavier. We've been through the dating process of being bigger. Mm-hmm. And while it's never been given to me, that's a specific reason of why somebody's broken up with me. Though physical attraction always plays into the longevity of a relationship. And I'll take my responsibility in the sense I wasn't always taking care of myself the best way. But at the same time, too, basing those things on just looks is an issue. But go ahead.
Okay, so I have been a lot bigger than I am now, by like 165 pounds.
Gonna need another one for this.
I have been in relationships where my weight has been a problem, but they weren't like anything great either. Those relationships ended for other reasons. They never blatantly came out and said that it was because of my weight, but I could tell that it was an issue because like physical stuff.
You felt that. You got the sense of that. Okay.
Yeah. But
like they were withdrawing or just not wanting to be physical with you during those relationships. I don't like talking about other people fucking you, but
I was not.
Well, I mean, it's alluded.
Man, was it?
I mean, I'll talk about it because it's part of your life, but
it's they don't want to go out in public with you. They don't want to like
really,
they don't want to like show you off. Like you're just kind of like kept
really
secret, kind of.
Okay, I know, I believe it. I guess I've just never had that mindset. Even if I was losing attraction to somebody,
trophy.
I wouldn't feel that way.
Like you're not the arm candy. You're not the trophy.
Who the fuck looks at it that way?
And so, I mean, there was that. And then
you think there's people that are like dating you because they're like, I like the status she gives me by having her on my arm while I'm out? I guess, I mean, okay, maybe I'm just naive.
And like, they don't want to be seen with somebody that's not considered super pretty. And plus, I was always told when I was younger and bigger that I would be so much prettier if I had lost weight. And I had such a pretty face, but I would be prettier if I lost weight.
That's your family saying that, right? I assume.
Some of them.
Well, I don't know. I just, yeah.
But
saying that all that stuff comes, you get that pressure. It isn't just like it's an external thing. A lot of times it's your home base too. And that's not a disrespect to anybody who may have said it. It's just that mindset where people are like, I don't understand why they're so focused on their body. It's fucking everywhere. It's in magazines, TV shows, commercials, movies.
Right. But we're in a shift. Like we are in a cultural shift. But another part to it is I've also gotten jobs because of my weight. And I've gotten let go of jobs because of my weight. My very first job out of college was at the Buckle, and I was in their management program, and I was bigger, and I got let go because I no longer, and I only worked there for like a couple of months, but I could not.
I wish we could say the company name, but I assume they would not have I would assume they'd have issue with that, but I would like to know who that is. I mean, I think I know who it is. I just can't remember. I know you've worked for several, so.
But like
I'd like to put them on blast.
I got let go because I couldn't fit the brand.
Yeah.
And then I got another job because this company was bringing in a plus size division. Like,
sure. We all got place at the table.
That.
Yeah.
When I worked at a different store,
the majority of people in this country are bigger.
They had like clothing, lingerie, and beauty.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get to manage the clothing or the lingerie. I could only manage the beauty department because I wasn't the typical customer for the clothes or the lingerie.
Yeah.
Well, so like it either works to your benefit or it doesn't. I left those industries, but also don't go back. Like, don't go back to that.
Yeah, Bev's sitting right here. What are you telling Bev?
Are you happy? Because if you're happy and if you're healthy, that's what matters.
But even if you're unhappy,
not their opinion of your weight.
Well,
and are they like Mr. Universe?
I guarantee you fucking not.
No. Do they work out 15 hours a day
Probably
and have muscles out to wherever?
Are they going out and killing it and just improving themselves by 1,000%? Fucking probably doubt it.
No.
Especially if they're doing the shit that they're doing, because if you were improving yourself to the highest level, you would know it is not fucking okay. And I really hope this motherfucker hears this show. It's not okay.
Does he
to
want
tell
you
somebody
to
something
be?
Like that?
Is he worried about your weight because it's unhealthy? Is he worried
There's
about
no
your
way
weight
that that's the conversation. It would be, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
No, I know, but
case.
like I'm saying, like, if it's that he's not attracted to you.
Sorry, you're talking to Bev, not me. Sorry.
It just makes me mad, and it makes me feel for her in a lot of ways because I've been there, and I've had to learn to love myself, and I've had to learn to be with somebody that makes me want to be better. Before we had our surgery, it became about your health. And then going through the process for you, I realized I didn't think I had a problem until we met with the doctor. And then, I don't know, I took like an outside look at it. Our surgery would never have been successful if we did it individually. If we did not do this together as a couple,
making the decision that we were going to support each other as a couple.
Was I still attracted to you when you were bigger? Absolutely. Am I attracted to you now? Yes. Would it change if you were to go back to who you were? No. Would I be worried?
Like it
would I be worried for your health? Yes.
But I wasn't my best self when I was 375
I wasn't my
pounds.
best self either. But that's what I'm saying. If the only reason he's breaking up with you is because of your weight, that's not good enough. What is he doing? What is he?
And like I said, he's not worried about Bev. He's not worried about your health. So like,
no, if he was truly worried about your weight,
he'd still be there.
He would be with you and he would be supporting you and he'd be like, hey, let's go work out together. Let's go to cooking class and see how to make like freezer meals that are healthy. Let's go for a walk in the evening after dinner. Let's instead of going to dinner and a movie for a date, let's go and do like how we have that rock climbing place here in Casey that we both
see, but I still feel like that's where you're kind of putting a lot of pressure still, like, hey, it's about your weight. You're there for it. You just need to be there for them. Does she even recognize it as a problem?
That's what I'm saying. Or
does she only recognize it as a problem because he brought it up? Exactly.
Because if you're happy with who you are. If you're positive with your body and you feel healthy, and fuck that motherfucker. There is somebody else out there who will love you and appreciate you for who you are. Exactly. Like, it just it should never be the one and only reason. There are 1,000 other things to be attracted to a person besides their physical body. And if you're going back because if the thought process is, well, if I lose weight and go back, if you're unhappy that he's gone, even if he's treated like that, there's things about things there will for yourself be mentally. Something that he will pinpoint. Well, I don't even care about that. There's things about yourself you need to work on. So I'm not going to just focus this on this guy being a piece of shit because he is a piece of shit. So let's just leave that there. The reason you're even thinking about going back is how you value yourself. And I've fucking been there. I have made excuses for people, and I'm sure they've done the same thing. I'm not shit on anybody I've dated. But I'm saying you make excuses for people, and it's because of how you value yourself. At least that's what it was for me. Right. Going through the counseling process and figuring that out, I didn't feel like I had the value to say, fuck you, I deserve better. Right. You deserve better. So if you don't feel that way, it's not about figuring out how to lose weight to get back with this guy. No. It's about you need to work on yourself to where you don't even have that perspective and you're moving forward and you're making yourself the best you can be. Right. If you feel like you need to lose weight, do it for you, not for anybody else, because the only way you're going to be successful is when you do it for yourself. Yeah, completely agree. Not when you do it for somebody else. Yeah, agreed. We have 2 daughters. And I tell you what, Bev, whoever Bev's former boyfriend is, don't come to Kansas City. Absolutely not. And let me know that you fucking said those things. I don't care. I'll fuck you up. I swear to God, if one of our girls come home and says something like that, I will scorch earth that motherfucker. This is going to be used for legal purposes in the future. He's been missing for 10 days now, and we did look at episode 5. Oh yeah, that was a milestone episode. Yeah, he was. We looked at episode 5, and you did say "scorch earth, motherfucker" about these guys. Yeah, but no, Bev, thank you so much for the question, and good luck on your journey. Please keep them coming in. Let us know how you're doing. We wish you the best, and we are here to support you. Cheerlead you in whatever. Don't go back to that motherfucker, though, Bev. Please don't go back to that guy. Focus on yourself. Slow down with the MFs. Sorry. Lord. I'm sorry. I get fired up, and that's just what comes out. Goodness. Look into my father's eyes, Eric Clapton. No. So, okay. No. Good luck to you, Bev. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the question. Sorry we got a little keep them coming, sweetheart. We love you. Good luck. Good luck to you. I love all of our people that listen to the show. Sorry if you don't. See, maybe we need to have, maybe there'll be questions coming in about Emily being emotionally withholding. I am. Okay, next question. This is an anonymous one, so they did not share their name with us, and but it's a question for sure. And we're gonna have to dive into this one. Love the show, but not married. Let's start out there. You don't have to fucking be married. I know it's a marriage podcast. It's a marriage podcast. It's coming from the perspective of a married couple. If I haven't done a good job making sure that this show is inclusive to anybody, because whether you're single and completely by yourself, you're single and a dog owner, you're married, you're partners, your same-sex marriage, your opposite-sex marriage, your gender-fluid marriage, whatever the fuck it is, you're all welcome in this show. All political views, walks and points of life, all those sorts of things. Pedophiles not welcome. So with that being said, anybody feel free that's listening to this show, fucking call in. We're not doing call-ins yet. Sorry. Message in. Jesus Christ, that technology. We can't even get that now. Message into the show and give us your stuff. It doesn't matter whatever it is. And please, hey, if you're coming to the Kansas City area, let us know what you're doing. We'll help give you. Probably won't hang out with you, but we'll give you information on the show. Sorry, I didn't mean to open it up that way, but you know what I mean. I'll give you information on what the best things to do in Kansas, like anything you guys could possibly think of.
throw it to us.
We don't really get out much.
So anybody just feel free. We know a lot about coffee and we are starting to know more about books. So,
Well, speak for yourself. You're learning about books.
Sure.
I know a lot.
All right. So love the show, but not married. And that's absolutely fine. And they say, however, I could really use some help in my situation. Recently, my girlfriend disclosed to me that the beginning of our relationship, technically before we were official. Okay. So you weren't in a relationship then. So it's just I don't like, I'm going to tell you, Anonymous, right off the bat, I'm not liking you're making these definitions and boundaries of a relationship, but then you're also admitting that there wasn't a relationship there. So right away, I'm going to tell you, there's probably some joint fault here in the perspective you're about to give. Technically, before we were official, she was still going on dates with other guys. Okay, so you guys weren't exclusive. And specifically, it was basically her sugar daddy. She said it was a guy she was taking advantage of. That's kind of fucked up. And never gave him sex or sexual favors, just led him on for fancy dinners and gifts for about 2 months. She admitted this to me apologetically and has not defended her actions. Admittedly, she was being selfish, or she admitted that she was being selfish and that all along she knew she wanted to date me. Although technically this isn't cheating because we haven't, okay, I didn't read all this. We hadn't verbalized being exclusive at this time. It still hurts and feels like I was betrayed by thinking we were both on the same page for the first 2 months of us consistently going on dates and seemingly building a deep connection. It basically feels like our first 2 months we have been invalidated. How should I go about this? I would love to forgive and forget as I see immense potential in this girl. It's just hard for me to fully commit myself with this back of my mind at all times.
You weren't together.
Yes. They were on
Move on.
What's the thing from, we were on a break.
We were on a break.
But fuck's sakes. Okay. And I really appreciate it. I'm sorry. It's going to sound, that sounded disingenuous. Like I don't care about your question. I care about your question.
Yes.
There's just several problems with this concern you have.
You admitted that you weren't official and exclusive.
Yes.
If you chose to not see someone else, but you saw only her, that's your choice. She was still seeing other people, whether or not she was using it for fancy dinners and whatever. Great, good for her. I mean, if somebody's willing to spend money and dote on you,
it's fucked up though. That's taking advantage of somebody. But, there's people that go and think that, they'll have a relationship with a waitress or a stripper because they're interacting with them from a customer perspective.
If the guy that was like her sugar daddy
it was his choice.
Totally into it, then...
But you also have to admit, they made a whole show. They had made a whole show called Catfish where people took advantage of people on MTV and fucking got them to do stuff because with the thought or giving them the interpretation that there may be a relationship there. So I'm not going to just give the fucking green light for this girl. Like, oh, whatever. It's fucked up what she did. I'm not denying that. And if you're okay, like, I just don't think, here's what I'm going to say. I don't think that her doing that is the issue. Obviously, you're still with her. The issue is your own fucking insecurities about her potentially going behind your back. That's what you got to work out. I think the issue is that you can't let go of the fact that from a possessive standpoint, you were dating her. It sounds like you weren't dating anybody else. You found out she was dating other people. And it did sound like there's other relationships besides him, and didn't mention there was no lack of physicality in the other relationships. That was not mentioned here. I think it's an insecurity thing. And you're going to have to figure out if you can work through that and you can be trusting of her, it's going to be fine. And
are you guys exclusive now?
It sounds like they are.
Okay, so then just move on. Move forward.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. If they move forward, though, and he's always worried about fucking her fucking somebody else, and it creates an issue with that's my point. Either here's what you need to figure out. Can you let go of your insecurity? It's not what she did. She didn't do anything wrong. You weren't. That's what I'm going to tell you.
And
sorry,
she admitted
Anonymous,
that she took advantage of somebody and she just wanted to be...
You want to talk about somebody coming to the table and taking fault and accountability? These are good things. These are good traits we're seeing from this person.
Right. She admitted to what she did wrong. She's clearly not doing that with you.
Yep.
So either take that for her growing in her character, or you still think she has an issue and she isn't being truthful. Like, I don't know. It
sounds like to me she's taking the right steps to say, hey, I fucked up. And it's not even I fucked up in the sense of like I cheated on you. I fucked up with how I treated those people. Right there, if you're insecure about what she may do, she obviously has empathy. So I would not be so much concerned as her lack of ability to say, hey, I'm doing something wrong here to somebody I care about. It sounds like that was somebody she didn't even really care about, and she's still showing empathy. So You've got to work through that insecurity.
She wanted to get fed. She just wanted a good meal.
I never had a sugar mama phase.
I never had a sugar daddy phase.
I feel like this is your sugar daddy phase. You're welcome. But no, seriously though, like this is about insecurity. So what I will say to this is that you need to work through that. If you can't work through that, don't fucking take her along that ride with you. That's not fair to her. She didn't do anything wrong except for what she knows she did wrong. And it had nothing to fucking do with you. She didn't do anything wrong to you.
No.
I don't care if she didn't tell you or not. It's not your fucking business back then. You don't. No. And here's the thing. Even if you marry her, you don't fucking own her. Her past is her fucking past. If she wants to talk to you about that, that's great. Now, if it was something she did to you and it comes out, that's one thing. That's not what's happening here.
No.
Work through your fucking insecurities. Okay. Everything will be fine if you do that. Mm-hmm. And if you're willing to do that, and it sounds like this relationship is important for you, you should do that. The rest will work itself out because it sounds like she's doing the right things. So
it sounds like he's really invested in it, and he sees a
It sounds like she is too, because you wouldn't even be entertaining.
Focus on the future.
Saying that you're not entertaining owning your own shit and saying, hey, I was a bad guy here, if you aren't willing to be vulnerable with that person and work through things.
Yeah.
So I'm not defending the person's decisions here. That wasn't okay, but we all make mistakes. So this moral superiority that our society tends to seem to have, everybody fucks up. So the fact that she was willing to accept that and say, hey, I'm ready to move. I'm good to move forward because since we've been truly together, everything's been great. Yeah. And I've done what I'm supposed to be doing as a partner. And I'm not seeing anything else in here because I feel like if there was other red flags about the relationship, there would be spitter spattered in here. Right. That's the main thing. It's your insecurity. Let it go and work through it. Like, don't just say, oh, I'm going to forget about it, move on, because you won't. No. You've got to actually work through this. Yeah. Talk to somebody about it. Even if you don't want to do counseling.
Be like, hey, this still kind of bothers me.
This is an insecurity for me because I'm thinking about you potentially being with other people. You have to be honest with her too. Here she is having to be vulnerably and honest. Absolutely. Yep. And it isn't until we as a couple were raw and honest with each other that we were able to grow. It doesn't mean it was like what we heard, but like it wasn't until then we were able to then build a base of a relationship, a true base of a relationship together, one that can't be cracked, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I say just be happy, move on, look for the future, keep your eye on the prize.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And good luck to you on that. I mean, I think that you do. It seems like you have a person who is trying to be a good version of themselves. Yeah. So hold on to that if you can and make it work. Yep. Completely agree. Mm-hmm. Completely agree. Yeah, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. I really appreciate everybody listening.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys again so much for your questions. Continue to send those to us. dowehavето.com. That's our website. You can follow what our Book of the Month Club is. Yeah. You can submit questions to the show. You can listen to the show, and then you can access where we provide our content, right? You can access our Twitter account, our TikTok account, our Instagram, Facebook. You can also access the podcast where it is available. It's available on YouTube. It is available on our video show, obviously is available on YouTube, but also our podcast is Amazon, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can get your content. We typically have it out there. If there's somewhere you're expecting it to be and it's not, send us that feedback. Yeah. But again,
there's a coffee shop you want us to try, shoot it on.
Especially try to keep it in the Kansas City, in the Kansas, Iowa. We can't drive too far. Nebraska areas. We'll start branching out some more. We'll take a road trip. 2 hours. You're in Lincoln. If I can just send us, hey, we'll go out. We'll honor somebody to be coffee of the month if it's worth it. Out in Lincoln, Nebraska. I don't give a shit. I'll drive. I like driving. So just keep coming to us with your content. But again, and thank you for these questions. But just again. 2025, we're starting out. Let's start out strong, but let's be kind to ourselves. Let's continue to have realistic expectations of things. And a lot of the other stuff's going to work itself out.
Sounds great.
I love you.
I love you too.
Wake up, I'm about to shake up every